Hello, everybody. Meteorologist Hutch Johnson joining you. A tornado watch has been issued for parts of western Minnesota from St. Cloud down to Sioux Falls into portions of South Dakota and northern and western reaches of Iowa. This tornado watch issued as storms are informing in an environment that has got quite a bit of shear or spin in it. I'll have details on what you can expect as we go through our day coming up right now. You're watching Hutch's
Now, a Hutch's weather update with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson, brought to you by Robert Gibb and Sons.
All right, thanks to my fine sponsors at Robert Gibb and Sons, we do have an active severe thunderstorm warning. The red area here is the tornado watch that has been issued by the National Weather Service offices in, accordance with different offices around the region, including Aberdeen and the Twin Cities area, as well as Des Moines. And as we take a look, Sioux Falls as well included, has some thunderstorm activity going on right now. Here's the facts on the watch. First and foremost, this issued at 12:30 for parts of Iowa, Minnesota, and southeast parts of South Dakota until tonight at 8 o'clock Central Time. You know what? Life-threatening tornadoes are going to be out there tonight. Why can we say that? Because there is so much spin in the atmosphere, and there should be enough energy and lift to create tornadoes that are EF2 or greater. So there is a chance for strong to violent tornadoes in this area tonight. This will continue to trek off to the east as we go into the later evening as well. These storms at first start will have more energy than some that continue on later this evening. Tornado watch again. We are also expecting very large hail. 3 to 4 inch diameter hail will be possible as we go through the night tonight. So any storms that form could come with all modes or dangers of severe weather. Make sure you stay weather aware heading into the evening hours. And as I was talking about last night, 80 mile per hour gusts are going to be likely. Tracy, thanks for watching from the Lake Brunson area. This is all south of us and mainly east of us, but things are getting started right now on a line as well. Now let's take a look at the warning that is in effect in Sioux Falls and surrounds. Here is a look at that. Let me turn on the radar data here so we can kind of take a peek at what's going on outside of Sioux Falls. And this is velocity data. Might as well just stick with that. Look at all the lightning moving through Sioux Falls on the eastern side of town, crossing the border towards parts of Minnesota right now, moving through Valley Springs and Beaver Creek. The radar is right here, so this gives us a good idea of the winds burping out of this system. You're looking at the velocity product here. We'll do more analysis on this storm, but the National Weather Service says, whoops, let's see if I can click on the storm. 1¼ inch diameter hail and 60 mile per hour wind gusts expected from this storm. So if you're in the path of this one, make sure you're seeking shelter. Here's the bigger picture. Let's take a look at the radar around the entire region. A swath of rain from just south of Bismarck. I know Bismarck, you're saying you got missed. Well, you know what? There is a chance for some soaking rain showers in and around your area. That chance increases where you see the red. This is all day heavy soaking rain showers making its way through, and it's going to stay parked over this area. We have gusty winds that'll be turning north behind this system, and those gusty winds will hit 50 to 55 miles per hour across portions of central North Dakota. There is a wind advisory in place here. I'll put that up right quick so you can see the latest on that. Wind advisory in place for parts of central North Dakota, Bismarck, Carrington, James River Valley, down towards Oaks, Ellendale, Lemoore County included, Brown County and Aberdeen, as well as Roberts County for you folks in and around the Sisseton Hills. Winds could gust over 50 miles per hour today. There were some counties here in the Red River Valley that looked like they were dropped from this particular wind advisory that is in effect. So we do see that we have some thunder and lightning that has developed in and around parts of Lakes Country. So these are the chance of severe now. It is now across parts of western Minnesota. The line is forming from Bemidji straight south into Sioux Falls, and there's a little bit on this side of the system as well. We'll take you into where the action is happening. Deer River on out towards the Grand Rapids area. You've had round after round of storms making its way through your neck of the woods. So second round of thunderstorms, and that means some locally heavy rain will be a problem in your area. These storms are lifting to the north and to the north and east right now. And we'll go to a single site radar product so I can take a look at some of the details inside the storm. Let's go ahead and look at the Duluth radar for this Deer River to Bemidji corridor, if you will. And these storms here are working their way to the north. The Deer River storm is the strongest in this particular area, but not severe at this particular time, nor does it look like it's on that threshold. Anything that moves north and away from this low pressure system will be in an environment that is not quite as energetic as to the south where the tornado watch is. There is still some shear in the environment, however, and we'll monitor these storms closely. So along the Capicona corner out there south of Bemidji and working your way down towards Park Rapids, we have some storms. These will be pushing up into the Bemidji, Lake Bemidji area. Clearwater County from Clearbrook south to Bagley, making its way off to the north and east as this swath of thunderstorm cells. Otherwise, a look at the Mayville radar showing that we do have some showers and storms showing up not far from Morrison Benson. This is the main event right here. So things are getting started there. These showers that we have in North Dakota are not going to be severe. Northwest Minnesota, not expecting severe there. Those are just those good old-fashioned soaking showers of rain making their way through. So most of the action happening out here. Let's take a look at some of the rainfall totals from the North Dakota Agricultural Weather Network from this morning's rain so far, and expect that that diagonal swath of rain that extends from Kitson County and Roseau County right into the James River Valley and the southern Missouri River Valley will continue throughout the day. This is not rainfall. This is a look at road reports. Let's go to the rainfall here for the day. And this is a 2-day total, so this will include some of the rain that fell before midnight last night, which is good to include. Bismarck, 1.06 inches. That's actually in Mandan. Hey, Simon, good to have you on board. Thanks for watching. Sam, thanks for watching as well. Good to see you this afternoon. Thanks for watching on my YouTube channel. If you do have a question, let me know. But here's a look at the rain. So that first swath that made its way through from southwest North Dakota, this is the Hettinger and Lemon, South Dakota area, 1.2 inches of awesome rainfall. What moved out of northeast Montana dropped over an inch of rain up there in the oil patch from Watford City, but mainly points north towards Williston. Look at Sidney, Montana and surrounds, 1 to 2 inches of rainfall there. We'll take it. Much of northwest North Dakota getting missed, however, with the exception of that McKenzie County area. Now, as we sneak out here and look up towards Grand Forks, look at the area near Warren. Oh my goodness, that's a gully washer right there. And how about Kitson County with 1/3 of an inch? Get into Roseau County, upwards of 1 inch, and Fox, 8/10 of an inch of rain. The Highway 200 corridor getting a nice soaker as well. A report from my good friend Al and Horace. Al, thank you very much. Over 8/10 of an inch there, 6/10 of an inch out at the airport here in the Fargo area. But look at this. At the NDSU end on site in Fargo, 8/10 of an inch with an inch just on the west side of town. So soaking showers there. We're continuing to add it up in Lakes Country as well. Looks like the Fergus Falls area got over 1/2 of an inch. And when we get down into parts of Wilkin and Traverse County, a good 1/2 of an inch has been recorded there as well. Can you see the clearing line south of the FM area? Well, let's take a look at that right now. Thank you for your question. So we've got some very good and beneficial moisture from this. Let's take a look at the satellite view, because where we get some sunshine peeking through the clouds, that really will amp up the destabilization of the atmosphere. And there's a little bit of that going on out here, and look at where that line is firing. Boom, right there. And one thing about visible satellite here, do you see the darkening of the clouds on the right side here? That's a shadow. So visible satellite imagery allows us to see those towering cumulonimbus clouds that are pushing upwards of 40, 50,000 feet up into the atmosphere. And this is the environment that has the spin in it. So let's take a look at that right now with your hour-by-hour forecast. Storms forming right now in Sioux Falls. Where is this line going? When will it be in your area? Does Fargo have to worry? No. Does Detroit have to worry? Detroit Lakes have to worry? Not as much. What about the snow risk from this system? Those are some questions. Yes, I said the S word right here on a live stream. Snow. And it's a 4-letter S word at that. I don't like it, and I don't like our chances of snow, by the way. Mike, thank you very much. Leora, good to see you, and thanks for tagging friends on my broadcasts. Now, again, stepping through time, we're going to look first at this line of storms and track where it's going and when it will be there. So let's go ahead and take a look at that first. This is the latest forecast model showing the storms forming in the Sioux Falls area. We'll quickly move off to the east. This is Otter Tail County. There's Becker County. So we're talking about Grant, Douglas County. So if you're in Alexandria, if you're in the area near Wendell and Elbow Lake, these storms that are just firing will get started. And you are in Elbow Lake, north of the tornado warning, okay? But storms that move into your area, you're going to be very close to where that tornado, watch, not warning, that tornado watch has been issued. So a tornado watch is in effect here in southwest parts of Minnesota. Barbara, good to have you on in East Grand Forks. Are you getting some soaking rain showers there as well? Boy, much needed rain. By the time we get to 1500 hours Central Daylight Time, you got to subtract 5 from this Greenwich Mean Time, or the European time zone that all meteorology uses. That's 3 in the afternoon. These storms are rumbling along in north of I-90 corridor, heading toward the Twin Cities, heading into St. Cloud. How about Duluth? I've got a question. Is Duluth in the danger zone? These storms will race in your general direction, but the early showers and storms will be exiting the area with the most energy. That does not mean you won't have some lower end severe potential, not as high end as the area of concern today in southern Minnesota. Minneapolis, St. Cloud, and Point South are definitely in a volatile area. Matthew, good to see you again as we look at the Kewaunee area. And does it have to worry? So I got to tell you, as you take a look, no, I don't think so. Not tonight, Matthew, as you're looking off out towards Indiana and Illinois. That threat is still on the low side, but I will show you this SPC forecast for Tuesday, because that's when there'll be a little bit more energy in your neck of the woods. Soaking showers just continue to dump on the I-94 corridor, Highway 200 corridor, and the eastern reaches of the Highway 2 corridor, right up into Highway 11's corridor, right through northwest Minnesota, rather, as we go through the early afternoon and the late afternoon as you're heading to the drive time home. This storm system makes it to the metro area, Minneapolis, St. Paul, as we go in towards about that 1700 hours time frame, so 5 p.m. It's drive time, and the potential for tornadic storms moving into the Twin Cities will be there. If you're south of the Twin Cities in Owatonna, if you're south of the Twin Cities down towards Rochester, these storms will work their way towards you. They're leaning into central parts of Wisconsin. Strong to severe thunderstorm development is likely in these areas as well, but the main event makes its way in as we go into the dinner hour after 6 and 7 o'clock. Gusty straight line winds. Northern parts of Iowa, you two are in the danger zone. Good afternoon, Kathy. Thank you very much. Praying for those in the severe weather area. And the best thing that we can all do is not worry, but prepare. So know that if you're in southern Minnesota and southwestern Minnesota this afternoon, any storms that form are in an environment where the spin is tremendous and strong tornadoes are possible. Review your severe weather plan. And let's say, for instance, you live in a manufactured or mobile home. Now is the time to think, if a tornado warning is issued for my area, where can I go to seek that sturdy structure? Where can I go? So this is a look at the thunderstorm track as we go toward the evening tonight. By the time we get a little bit later tonight, towards the 10 or 11 o'clock hour, it will be exclusively down near Red Wing and off into Wisconsin. Gusty straight line winds and all modes of severe weather will still be possible, but notice it's clearing out of Minnesota quickly. Here's where we'll have that chance of snow into the overnight hours. I think the best chance will be in northern Minnesota. You might get a flake mixing, in other words. Otherwise, I just don't buy the fact that Fargo is going to see flakes of snow, nor do I think Grand Forks will see flakes of snow. The best chance might be northern Minnesota, certainly the Black Hills and Montana. Let's look at that tornado parameter with this particular model, because we can. What is a tornado parameter? It's where the ingredients for the tornado are the highest. We need spin in the atmosphere. We need strong lift in the atmosphere. And the spin isn't oriented from the cloud to the ground right now. It's oriented this way, a horizontal tube of spinning air. And we have that like crazy across the area. So as we take a look at the tornado parameter, where are we going to get the lift, the spin, and the energy from this storm to really bring everything together? And let's see, here we go. Significant tornado parameter this afternoon. Firing up of storms here. The strongest spin in the atmosphere is in these areas highlighted by a computer model. They've been known to make mistakes before. So this isn't exactly where things are going to form. Notice at the risk, as we go towards the 2 in the afternoon time frame here shortly, we'll quickly move along the I-90 corridor in southern Minnesota and along the Iowa border. That's where the strongest spin is located. What is the parameter number? It's a parameter, so it's a made-up index, and it's at 4 or so. So a 5, 4, or 5 in some of the greatest spin areas. This moves right into places like Mankato, southern Minnesota. I want to point this out. Everywhere you see this parameter with the spin does not mean a thunderstorm that's rotating, that's putting a tornado on the ground, is going to happen everywhere along this area. It just means all these ingredients are coming together right here. If a storm forms in this environment, as we go through the 4 to 6 p.m. time frame, look out. There is some very potent and strong spin working its way through the area. This spin continues to be very, very vibrant as we go through the evening hours and towards 10 o'clock right here. And there they're clearing out. The spin is clearing out, as do the storms later tonight. So this is the area of concern for spins. Notice, if you are in Lakes Country, the greatest risk is going to be southern and eastern Otter Tail County, Grant and Douglas County, and points south. That's where the watch is. That's why the watch is where it is at, because forecast models are saying the most potent energy is right here in the atmosphere. So I hope that answers some questions there. Matt says, hi, seems early in the season for powerful tornadoes. Is this unusual? I would say this is early season for sure, but it's not unprecedented. We've already had some tornadoes in Iowa, violent tornadoes in Nebraska. And because this low pressure system has south winds and it's bringing dew points in the 60s well into our area here, well, that's the energy that these storms need to create the violent storms that we have. So not unprecedented, but early, yes. Is it typical? No. Have we seen strong tornadoes in the month of late April and into May? Yes, particularly in southern Minnesota, a little bit more so than possibly Iowa's a little bit more prone to this kind of weather this time of the year. So that's what's going on there. Now let's take a look at the forecast rainfall amounts from this very same model. And we're also going to take a look at the storm that's making its way through the Sioux Falls area right now and look on those Lakes County storms, Morris-Benson area in particular. Rainfall amounts from the storm by the time this event is all said and done. For that, I need to go back to a model that goes out to the end of the precipitation event. So, here we go. All right, sorry about that. But okay, we're going to have some areas. Bismarck, Cutoff Line, Dry Line, Devil's Lake, and points north. A rapid drop-off in the drier and colder air up to the north and west. 1 to 3 inches of rain. I've seen a photo from some of you on hutchesweather.com of already 2 inches of rain in and around that Jamestown, Stutzman County area. So this is on track. We got 7/10 in the FM area. We already have that. So I do think some of that heavier rain that moved through here just did overproduce just a little bit compared to what this model's thinking. And then it moves off into northern Minnesota, where the drought is not fun right now. And we could certainly use some additional moisture with all the planting you producers were doing over the last couple of weeks. Looks like it's clearing up in Thief River Falls. As we take a look right now, that's indeed the case, but there's more rain in and around the area, so we'll go over that as well. So here is a look at the rainfall potential. Many in the blue areas will see a 1/2 inch to 1 inch. Some inside this pink area will see upwards of 2 to 4 inches of rainfall, depending on how many thunderstorms roam through your neck of the woods. It looks like we're getting another round pushing up into parts of Grant County and Douglas County right now. All right, that is a look at your forecast update. Let's go to hutchesweather.com. It's a great place for you to upload photos. And already today, I did get a couple of photos of some rain gauges. Let's see. I got to approve another one here. So bear with me while I do this in real time. I did get a notification that I had another picture come in. So we'll go ahead and prove that because it was a rain gauge shot from that Stutzman County area, I do believe. Angela, thanks for uploading. According to your rain gauge here, it looks like a little bit of a gully washer moved through your area. So this should show up now. Let's go out and we'll come right back in. So we'll let it reload that and I'll refresh the page here right quick. Thanks for bearing with me. Okay, rainfall amounts. Thanks for uploading your rain gauge shots here. This really does help all of us see that what is actually falling into rain gauges is important to compare to radar estimates of rainfall. This is West Fargo. This is Bill in Rendezvous Park out there, and that's 6,500 before daybreak this morning. That was very nice. So that was the overnight rainfall from that first round that Hutch was covering between 2 and 5 a.m. this morning. And then we got out in the Jamestown area. Southwest Jamestown, 2 inches by 9 a.m. in this good old-fashioned rain gauge right here. So that looks like just under 2 1/2 inches recorded there in that part of Stutzman County. That's a little shy of what a few other rain gauges showed, but as you know, we can certainly see some variations there. So remember, hutchesweather.com anytime, anywhere. Hey, Kara, good to see you. Val, looks like it's clearing up. Let's go right back to this radar and I'll clear up a couple of things of what's going on. Thief River Falls, Red Lake Falls, the heaviest of the rain is pushing north. Carlstadt, much of Marshall County, Minnesota, north of Grigla, north of Newfold, and seeing that heavy band of rain. That is also lifted north of Grand Forks right now. Much needed rain for some in this area. Continue through Nelson County, the Mackville area, all the way out in towards the Carrington, New Rockford reaches of Foster in Eddy County, northern Stutzman. Seeing a look there. We have a wind report in Grand Forks of 58-mile-per-hour gust. 58 mile per hour. This is a non-thunderstorm related wind. No thunderstorms since very early in the morning. A 58-mile-per-hour gust from this cold northwest or north wind that will be developing as we go through. So that's good to know as well. So we do have some winds out there. Let's take a look at gusts and what those are doing right now. As we take a look at these digits here, these are wind gusts, 45 mile per hour, the most recent gust measured at the Jamestown Airport. Same thing for Grand Forks. It's really windy there. Here's this core of real strong wind behind this cool front. This is a pretty cool and pretty dry air mass working its way in, and we can confirm that. So where the dry air is moving in, it's going to really start increasing your wind speeds. It's going to start drying things up on the radar, and it's going to feel a lot colder. Here's your temperatures right now heading through the 1 o'clock hour. 54 in Fargo, 37 Grand Forks, 34 in the Detroit Lakes area. Gusty winds are bringing this very dry air on the backside of the system, and it's moving out here. Look what's coming up. Look at Sisseton. Are you kidding me? 72 degrees in Sisseton. Fergus Falls, your temperature looks to be a little toastier than Fargo's. It's 61 there. Alexandria, 63, 66 in Elbow Lake, and 70s down south as we go into the Morris Benson area. So this is where that energy is the strongest right now. We've got hot air. We had a little bit of daybreak and sunshine in there that helped these temperatures go up. That decreases the stability of the atmosphere. And today, shazam, we have thunderstorms forming. Here's your dew points. Dew points are a temperature. And we have dew points in the mid and upper 60s trying to work their way in. Mid 60s for sure from Dawson through Marshall, Minnesota, and Wolverton. This is the humid air that fuels these thunderstorms. And with strong winds from the south, it will feed right into the storms and provide the moisture necessary to keep these clouds going and blowing all night. On a model I see about 2 a.m., it looks pretty nasty towards Kewaunee. Thanks, Matthew. We'll look at your area here very shortly. Simon, thank you. Big rumbles of thunder just southeast of Wilmer. So as you look in the Wilmer area, as you look down here towards Mankato, all of this area of Minnesota is starting to see this very humid air work its way in. And here is a look at the composite radar from all. Now we got a new severe thunderstorm warning that has moving along the I-90 corridor. Look at this storm exploding now and really taking off in this volatile environment, stretching all the way up to Alexandria. This is not one thunderstorm, but many individual thunderstorm cells. Down south is where we'll have a better chance at seeing some of the more volatile spin in the atmosphere that we showed you moments ago, calculated by the model. Now we take you in Laverne. It looks like Laverne. I hope Shirley's close by, but if not, this is a big-time hail core heading in your general direction. National Weather Service radar says 1 3/4 inch diameter hail has been observed. The hail threat has been observed. Here is a hail report from Beaver Creek of 1 inch diameter hail. So severe sized hail of 1 inch diameter is observed, and the max hail size estimated by the National Weather Service there moving toward Laverne right now is almost 2 inches in diameter, heading into the general direction of the Kenneth area as well. Go into the single site radar from Sioux Falls. Let's take a look at that. While this loads up, this storm is moving to the north and east. National Weather Service has that storm moving at 43 miles per hour. That's a quick moving puppy as it works its way through. Let's look at velocity, see if it's spinning yet. Not seeing clear evidence of strong spin. We see some little individual green pixels next to the orange red pixels here. Not clear indication of anything strong rotation-wise yet on this particular cell. Back to the radar display here. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the cell that we have here and see what we're looking at. Here is the storm near Laverne right now. It's moving to the north and east. Its motion will carry the storm. Let's see if we can pop the times up for you. Laverne by 1:30, it will be near you. Kenneth, 1:43. Wilmot by 1:58 as we go toward the top of the hour. If the storm continues at the same intensity and speed of motion, it'll be on towards Avoca as we head into the 2 o'clock time frame. So that's a look at this particular storm. Again, 1 inch diameter hail or larger heading into the Laverne area as we speak. It looks like a tornado warning has just been issued, folks. So let me go ahead and get the basics on this. I just looked at the velocity and saw very little, but let's see what this says. Is that true, or was that? Nope, that's the red outline. Okay, excuse me. That's not a tornado warning. That's the area that this storm is moving in. I'm going to change the color of that before this is all said and done because I certainly don't want that confusion. That's not a tornado warning. Okay, that's a severe thunderstorm warning. Okay. As we take a look up north near Alexandria, there are some storms moving out of the Morris area and Glenwood area. They're moving in the general direction of Alex. Not severe at this particular time. They're moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. This particular cell is not producing sizable hail right now, but small soft hail is possible. And as I click on it, let's see if it gives me a timing of when and where it will be, where it's moving. Okay, so I will have to go ahead and manually track this cell right here. Okay, let's do this. Here we go. All right, so this one moving northeast at a clip of about 40 miles per hour or so. We'll put it in the Alexandria area by around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So you are on the north side of the tornado watch. You are not in the tornado watch. So the chances of tornadoes there is not zero, but it does look like they have less energy than some of the storms up on the north side of this particular line of thunderstorm cells. So this is what's going on right now heading into the afternoon hours. This is where things are firing. If you are west of this line, the severe weather risk is over. It is over for Brookings. It is over for Sisseton. It is over for Fargo-Moorhead. It is over for the most part for Detroit Lakes and Fergus Falls. Southeast Otter Tail County, on to the east into the folks in Wadena County, Brainerd area, Little Falls, and St. Cloud in particular. This energy in the atmosphere here is much, much higher. So keep that in mind. So I'll keep my eyes on things. That's what's going on. Do I expect redevelopment behind the storms? I think I just answered that. And no, I do think our threat here is all but done. We will have that rain threat making its way through the Fargo area. Here's a look at the Mayville radar, a little closer to Fargo. We do have thunderstorms making their way through Clearwater County, pushing north. Bemidji right now, we have showers and thunderstorms pushing through that neck of the woods as well. Also, one thing to let you know of for now on Hutch's weather, you can get a look at Minnesota cameras across the region by scrolling down to the bottom of my page. Have a wonderful sponsor that's been with me, and he operates a YouTube page that has a number, like 16 different live camera feeds on this page. So if you click on this circle right here, NTROTC, it is the Northern Transcon Rail Cam setup Otter Tail channel, but there are numerous sites that you can take a look at in real time. So you can go to individual cameras and see what's happening in real time in these areas. Like if we go to the Brainerd Lakes area and click on that, it will take us right to where it is we want to look. And once this is done, we'll get a chance to see what's going on in the Brainerd Lakes area from this. Gray skies, cool weather, wind a-blowing, but not as strong as it will be a little bit later. But we don't see anything too volatile right there right now. So check that site out, bookmark it. He's a good friend of mine, and he always is letting me know what's going on from his network of cameras out there. The NTROTC Otter Tail channel. Check it out. All right, I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson. I'm going to keep my eyes on these storms as they make their way out into Lakes Country right now, and also into Wadena County and the areas south of there towards Alexandria. That's where the greatest risk will be. I'll keep my eyes on it for now. That's a look. Do you think that a tornado watch will be issued over the Twin Cities area? Well, it really depends on if these storms fire and that line is taken off hot and heavy. I do think that there will be a risk in particularly south of the Twin Cities tonight based on the information that we just looked at, like overnight. Let's go ahead and take a look at your area for you. Matthew, you've been very patient. Thank you so much for your patience while I cover the active storms right now. Now I'm going back to my radar view here. What I'm going to do is pop up a view that takes a look at your neck of the woods. We have a strong thunderstorm cell here near Tolman and Eau Claire, heading into that Wausau area, Nilsville, out there in parts of Wisconsin right now. This is not a severe thunderstorm, or nor is it warned, but it does have the possibility for some gusty winds and hail. It's moving in the northeast direction near Black River Falls. Now, what's going on as we take a look at the National Composite Radar so we can get a look throughout Illinois and Indiana, and you're going to see the line out here. Now, today's risk of severe weather as advertised by the Storm Prediction Center looks like this. So the day one risk today, if you look into Illinois, the only part with a yellow area here or even orange is up in the northwest corner of the state of Illinois. So as we zoom in a little bit closer, we're looking at Cedar Rapids, Iowa, Freeport, Savannah, Clinton, Davenport out there. And then this is a level 2 out of 5 level scale, a slight risk of severe weather from Racine, Wisconsin, all the way down to Kewanee. So there you go. You have a risk of severe weather. It's a little lower than your neighbors to the north. What's going to happen right here? Let me load up my future radar. This will take a moment to load up, but let me see if I can get a timing for you. All right. Isn't this fun? Okay, so we're covering it. Staying informed if storms do come to your area, though, Matthew, is the best thing. So let's take a look at some of the parameters that we have here. And we're going to jump in time on this model forecast. And this is looking at a model called the HRR. So it lets us know what's going on here. Let's go into the 8 p.m. time frame. Let me put the model time up so you can see that up at the top bar here. Pardon me. Okay, so this is 8 p.m. And we see that the strongest storms are just right up here. So 8 p.m., as you look at Kewaunee up there, there it is. Mason City, Iowa, just rocking through southeast parts of Minnesota right there. This looks like a backward C shape. This would be a very, very windy cluster of thunderstorms. And yes, there could be some spin in those storms as well. So how long is it going to take them to get down into your neck of the woods here? So if we're looking into that Clinton area, if we're looking, let's go ahead and carry this out to about midnight. So here's 11 p.m. on this night. And this model still has the storms well to your north and west. So these storms are now rocking through central parts of Wisconsin as we take a bigger look right here. There are some storms moving through Kirksville, Ottumwa. Hutch spent some time working and covering weather out in them neck of the woods. Beautiful country up there. They'll have a chance at some storms. Let's look at 6 a.m. as we go into your Tuesday morning. And shazam, Muscatine, Iowa, and Point Southeast storms will be pushing their way up into northern parts of Illinois. This is separate development from the main system that we're seeing move through Wisconsin. So according to this particular model here, it looks like that risk is going to stay to your north, kind of splitting your area here with energy from the south part of the system moving to your south and the one in Wisconsin moving off to the north. Does this confirm? If we look at a national view of this HRR model, we should be able to get a better feel for how the model is handling things here. And we'll do that real quickly. And we'll look at your spin and characteristics there. Thanks again for waiting and thanks for your patience. What about the Grand Forks area? The drier air is moving in. The drier air is cutting it off a little bit, but there's rain to the north of you. And that's where the heaviest rain is moved right here. You can kind of see on this forecast model, this is where the heavy rain is. So focus on my finger here. That's Grand Forks. This is all garden variety rain shower activity. I got to pull this to a model that's going to go out far enough. So I'm going to the 12Z model run. That will get us into the overnight hours so we can see what's going on here in northwest parts of Illinois. Boom. Showers and thunderstorms in Iowa move to the north and into Wisconsin rather than here, according to this model. So we get through the evening pretty much unscathed according to this model, but you are in an area of slight risk. So a couple of storms may indeed become severe in your area. Now let's go to the overnight time frame. More storms form in Iowa. What are they going to do? Well, they kind of split your area, but that's going to be when your chance will be the best. 6Z, that's 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. Then that main line of energy passes you. Northwest winds start ripping through, dropping dew points, dropping temperatures, and the severe risk goes away. So if you're going to get the storm, it'll be in the overnight hours, Matthew. Now, if we look at the tornado parameter on this particular model, you can do so by clicking over to the severe weather column on the left side. And if you go out and look at let's just look at the tornado parameter if it's available here. Let me take a look. There it is. Significant tornado parameter. This doesn't mean everybody's getting a tornado. I want to quell that and pour a big old 5-gallon bucket of cold ice water on that. That's not what this means. It just means where are the areas where we have the potential for thunderstorms and spin in the atmosphere and strong updrafts in the atmosphere. Here's the area of concern for you. Notice that the tornado parameter as we go into the late night hours really rolls up into Wisconsin. Central Iowa sees more development. Here is when the tornado parameter and the storms have their best chance of making their way into your area. This is 5Z. This is midnight to 1 a.m. That's the timing I got for you, Matthew. I hope that helps you answer your question. Back to another question. Looks like Amanda says, I'm currently at work. Winds just picked up and bad. Had to lock the door due to all of that wind, and the mailman couldn't even shut the door. Wow, where are we at here, Amanda? I'd love to know the location of your observation there as I take you back to the radar for a last look at what's going on right now. Let me go back to this other radar here. Okay, so now we'll get back to the radar, not the model data, but real-time stuff going on now. Sioux Falls. off to your east, near Slayton, near Laverne. That hail has moved through Laverne. What'd you get in Laverne? Upload a photo to hutchesweather.com when it's safe to do so. Here's your storm system. Is there any more spin in this? Let's go to the look at the velocity data here, and we'll turn the timeline back on so we can see what's going on. Scratch Hutch's chin just a little bit. We had 1-inch diameter hail that was reported in the area as the storm made its way right through the Beaver Creek area. Now it's right over Kenneth. Still waiting for the radar data to come in here. It's maybe I'm on the wrong radar. Let's go to, yeah, my apologies. Too many radars to pick from. Here we go. Work right. Oh, just right when you hit Moorhead. Okay, so the winds are picking up in the FM area as well. We have 40 plus mile per hour gusts in Grand Forks, 45 mile per hour gusts. We had a 58 mile per hour gust in Jamestown. The heavy wind is on its way, batten down the lawn furniture, put those trash cans, put some rocks in the bottom of them or something, because things are going to get blowy here before you know-y. All right, this is a look at straight velocity. We're looking at the radar from the area out in Sioux Falls. This is all outflow. It's unidirectional wind caused by that thunderstorm that's blowing its way into the Kenneth area right now. This particular storm here, how fast are these winds? This is going to be a very good estimate of Doppler radar, what it's seeing at this elevation. It's above the ground and in the cloud. Radars look in the cloud. There's that core of wind. How fast is that? Hutch wonders. So Hutch's mind says, wow, that's 57 mile or 54 mile per hour winds up at the cloud level. But you got to add the motion of the storm and the environmental winds. So that's something to keep in mind. If a collapsing hail core moves out of this, we could see 60, maybe 70 mile per hour winds. The National Weather Service says, oopsies, let's go over here, that this particular storm has a hail threat of 1 3/4 inch diameter hail and 60 mile per hour winds. I think we could see a little bit over that in isolated areas. So when warnings are put out like this, you see this huge polygon. This is where the wind is happening, right here in this tiny area. So even though you're in the warning, you're not always going to be hit by the worst of the storm. That's the good news. But you should prepare for it, because this kind of stuff can happen wherever the thunderstorm wants to lay that down. Morris, thank you for watching, Caitlin in Morris, Minnesota. I appreciate that. There is a chance of some strong storms in your area. Let me get right to you right now as we take a look at the real radar data from our area. Okay, let me get rid of this overlay. Okay, so in Morris and in Benson, the storms have moved off to your east. I believe in Morris that the greatest risk for severe weather is now off to the east of you, and it's moving out towards Alexandria. I think your threat for severe weather from Graceville and Sisseton is all but done out here. But if you're in Morris, you have these few cells that'll be skirting your area because they're moving to the north fairly rapid clip. Notice, not quite as intense as the storms are down to the south there near the South Dakota border with Minnesota. Hi, coming from Becker County. Good to see you at Becker County. Here's what's going on. As you look to the north, I'm going to pull up a radar a little closer to our neck of the woods. And as that loads up, you're going to see we do have some Park Rapids storms pushing into Becker County here. Northern parts of Becker County, garden variety thunderstorms. These are non-severe. Do I think they could become severe? I'm saying there's a chance, but it's a small chance. Very cool air pushing into Fargo. Do you see this line here? I just got a report of things blowing so hard that the door couldn't be opened. And look at this. This little line is caused by that burp of wind. So we're about to see a wind direction shift in the FM area. Let's go ahead and take a look at the wind gusts and temperatures in Fargo. So if I hold over Fargo here, we've got a wind gust reported at 37 miles per hour. Okay, that wind direction is from the north at 20, so it has switched direction. Once your wind becomes northerly, the risk of severe is all but done. Fargo, we're done. And it's heading towards Fergus Falls where the temperature's 61. We still could see a couple of thunderstorms in this area. The severe risk is much lower than our neighbors to the south. So hopefully that helps you make plans for your day. Valley City, a 41 mile per hour gust, or no, that's 41 degrees temperature. The wind gusts are 40 miles per hour right now. Those are also out of the north. Now, as we look at these temperatures, I see some redonky-donk readings. How about Devil's Lake? Oh my goodness. 34 degrees, 32 the dew point. That is one cold wind out there. And now, I hate to do this to you, but let's look at the feels like temperature. This is wind chill, folks. Wind chill of 20 degrees right now in Devil's Lake, 26 in Hallock, 38 that wind chill in Warroad. Coming at me from Medina, North Dakota, that is where Hutch Johnson saw the largest tornado I have ever witnessed in my life. happened just north of the interstate in Medina. Hit that farmstead out there. I forget the year. Jasandra, do you remember? Thanks for watching Hutch's weather out in that Medina area. 28 is what it feels like on exposed skin in Jamestown right now. We're talking gusty winds in the James River Valley hitting over 50 miles per hour right now. Are you hearing those winds, Jasandra? Thanks for checking in with Hutch's weather. Do you think Chanhassen will get hit bad later, Troy? Good question, and I do believe there's a fairly good chance at seeing some very stout thunderstorms. For that, I'm going to go ahead and load up a model data on this other computer here. So let's answer your question in detail. Let's go to model guidance, and now I've got to load it up. So give me 1 minute. I'm going to load up the HRR model. I think it's doing as good as any of the models. And what I want to tell you is that where you see a thunderstorm form on these models does not always mean that that's where the thunderstorm is going to form. It just gives us an idea of where the general direction and movement of the storms could and should be and the type of development and threats. So as we load this model up, let me see here. I think if this one's all the way in, it'll give us a good idea of what's going to happen. And I've got total snowfall. I can tell you with certainty that Shakopee will get 0 snowfall from this storm system as looked at by this particular model. Now let's take a look at the precipitation with this particular storm. Here we go. Sorry about that. I had the wrong variable loaded up to plot. Here it is. Did you see the storms? So as we put this into motion, you can watch the clock here rocking its way through the metro area. The southern metro and points south will have the strongest risk of strong to severe storms. St. Cloud is in a tornado watch right now. Will a watch be issued? Certainly it is possible. This watch is extended until 8 o'clock. It does not look like it takes too long for these storms to get to the Twin Cities, though, once they form. So here is a step-by-step look at these with the timestamp. So as we go through the 3 o'clock hour, St. Cloud storms will be moving into your area and point south. If you're looking along the old Minnesota River Valley here, Redwood Falls down towards New Ulm and Sleepy Eye, Springfield, having that chance of storms, as will Hutch. No, not this Hutch. This Hutch right here. That's where the storms are looking to be as we go into the time frame of 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, you're asking about Chanhassen, I believe, right? Yeah, you said Chanhassen. That's where the National Weather Service office is located, by the way, in the Twin Cities. Hello, fine friends at the National Weather Service Forecast Office. See the backwards C shape here. This could be a collapsing thunderstorm cluster working its way through. What does that mean? Very strong, gusty, straight line winds. Will it work out to be exactly like this? No, but this gives you the timing, and this is likely going to be as close as we can guesstimate right now, between 4 and 5. That I've been saying, drive time home, look out. That's when the worst of the thunderstorms move through Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center, Coon Rapids, all the way through St. Paul as we go into the 5 p.m. time frame, pushing toward the Hudson area in Wisconsin just after that. Now, if you're in St. Peter, notice this is 5 p.m. and these storms are exiting the tornado watch area here. As we go down south, they're pushing into Mankato, St. Peter, Mapleton, and on the way. This is where we analyzed the spin or the tornado parameter to be the highest as well. 5 p.m. is your timing. I do think you'll have a good chance at these storms being pretty volatile, particularly in the southern metro and down towards Mankato. Now, as I continue to step through time, because we're here, we may as well continue to look at where these storms go in southeast Minnesota. Red Wing, they'll be approaching you in the 6 o'clock hour. I want to caution you, when we start to see this backwards C shape, the thunderstorms themselves can accelerate and start moving at 50 to 70 miles per hour. That's going to happen tonight as this becomes a wind event. So I'm thinking for Wisconsin, we're going to have a very good chance for some of these isolated strong to severe storms here on this side of the storm. This side that's coming out of St. Cloud pushing toward Duluth, it looks like to me will be very, very windy. So a straight line wind threat with some hail. This leading edge, definitely embedded severe in there, and some possible rotation on the south side as we go down toward La Crosse. Here's the main event pushing through northern Iowa, Rochester, Mason City, and there will be a risk of tornadoes and a risk of severe weather here in Rochester to Albert Lee and Austin and down towards Mason City as we go toward the 8 p.m. time frame, on toward La Crosse and, Black River Falls, where we have a storm right now. The next round comes as the clock strikes. Not midnight, but 10 p.m. And the storms will be on the prowl, heading their way to the south and east towards places like Madison and Green Bay, and exiting our area and leaving us with a quiet night's sleep. Meanwhile, up in northern parts of Minnesota, up there in the Arrowhead, a chance for a few flakes of SNOW making their way into the forecast as well. If Kewaunee is so close to the Iowa-Illinois border, what do you think any storm development will roll toward my neck of the woods? There's a chance, and that's why the Storm Prediction Center has you, Matthew, in that slight risk area. The model, this particular model says, the storm's going to split and move around you. That's not always what happens. And you and I both know that. Models give us an idea of the timing of the line. You can see here as you look into your area that line moves through as we go through the overnight hours. This one now says about 1 a.m. To 3 a.m. for your area. And yes, all modes of severe weather will be possible, but the risk for the strong and violent tornadoes will be waning in your area. You're not in that area where we're expecting the bad tornado. Jasandra says 2002 was that bad tornado in Medina. That's the day Hutch Johnson was driving from Fargo. I gassed up in Fargo. I could see that huge towering cumulonimbus forming from Fargo and Jamestown as we left that area. Boom. It formed a tornado just north of the interstate, had a shield of rain moving this way, behind it another swath of rain moving that way, and within seconds, the biggest tornado I've ever seen just showed up in Medina, North Dakota. Jasandra, thank you very much. Will there be bad tornadoes in Chippewa or Eau Claire? There is a chance for some very gusty straight line winds. I think that's your number one threat. I think we could have some sizable hail up to around 2 inches in diameter. And yes, there's a chance for tornadoes. I think all tornadoes are bad, and it just depends on where they hit. The thing is, if you think of a thunderstorm, these thunderstorms you see here have a diameter of 10 miles. It's not a very big area impacted by the thunderstorm. The tornado has a diameter of 100 yards. To the bigger tornadoes, it could be a mile or a mile and a half wide. So the impact area from these tornadoes gets to be pretty small. I can't forecast what street or town is going to get a tornado, but I can say your area is in the Storm Prediction Center's area of concern. So I will show you that real quickly here with your questions. I do thank you for asking them. And there are no bad questions ever. I have taught meteorology at the college level for the better part of 20 years. There are no bad questions. So as you look at the risk for severe weather, let's switch over to my other radar product here. Here is Eau Claire, and you're asking about Chippewa Falls. So as you take a look at the state, basically most of Wisconsin from the south shore of Lake Superior through Rhinelander, Wausau, all the way out towards Madison is in this orange color. That's a level 3 risk of severe weather. That means a tornado, maybe even a few strong ones, will be possible in the orange area as well. The red area, violent tornadoes will be a possibility as we go through the evening hours tonight. It's exiting Minnesota by 10 o'clock. It's pushing into this area of Wisconsin here as we go into the early evening hours, say 6 to 10 o'clock here. So Nillsville, Eau Claire, Rice Lake, and on towards Medford and those areas. So yes, you do have that chance. As we go far north, though, the chance does drop off just a little bit. Iron Mountain, Rhinelander, Kenesha, all the way out to Green Bay. There'll be a chance, Oshkosh, as well as Madison, Wisconsin, of seeing pretty strong storms there for you folks. Graceland, I hope that answers your question. Just stay weather aware. Not every storm is going to have a tornado attached to it. Not every storm is going to have monster-sized hail. I'm not sitting here dancing and pounding my chest saying run anywhere. Now is the time, if you live in these areas of orange and red, and even in the areas of yellow, to review your severe weather plans. If you do happen to work, live, or are playing today in an area where you're not in a secure structure, let's say you're at your camper in Lakes Country. Yep, you better be watching the weather and know where you can go to be safe. Let's say you work at an office that happens to be in a strip mall and you work in an office where it's all glass. You don't want to be there if there's a violent tornado. You want to know where you can go. So think, stay informed as the storms approach. If thunder and lightning is approaching your area, get the information yourself. Find any source you can to find out if it's a watch, if it's a warning for your area. One place you can do that no matter where you live is hutchesweather.com. If on hutchesweather.com you type in your living zip code where you live, it will tell you at the top of the page, boop, de boop, we got alerts for your area. So as I click on that and expand those alerts, it's going to tell me that I have a wind advisory in my area. And it can tell you what's in your area as well. So if you wake up to rumbles of thunder at 1 a.m. there, Matthew, go ahead and have hutchesweather.com on there, put your zip code in, and my weather page will tell you. You can also use any and all modes of information. I encourage everybody to stay informed. When storms move into this area tonight, southern Minnesota, the atmosphere is a loaded weapon tonight. And there will be spinning storms. There could be violent tornadoes tonight, not just weak ones. What are the chances of severe Benson, Murdoch, DeGraff areas? The severe risk in Benson is now, and it will not be here long. It will move off to the east. So as you take a look on hutchesweather.com right now, Rita, I hope you like the page. I know you've commented on it, so thank you for your kind words. As we take a look at the looping radar here and we get down into the Morris and Benson area, here you go. Moving through Glenwood, moving out of Morris, south down here in Benson, you can see the stronger cells have just passed through and moved off to the east. Could we still see more making their way in? Yes. So you're not out of the threat window yet, but it is moving to the east fairly quickly heading into the evening. Thank you all so very much for watching Hutch's Weather. I'll keep you updated. For now, I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson, hutchesweather.com. Anytime, anywhere for the latest in your weather information. Follow on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube. Matthew, thank you for your questions. Stay safe, everybody. And as always, stay informed on days like this. I'll keep you updated the best.